Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. A very large hedge fund manager says that gold ownership could become illegal if inflation spikes. Let's explore. Yes, John Firth made me aware of this article that comes to us from Market Insider, but this is originally from Bloomberg. It says that central banks might outlaw private gold ownership and use the metal to stabilize currencies, which is what hedge fund manager Crispin O'Day said in a letter seen by Bloomberg. The notoriously British investor added to his gold positions throughout April, warning clients that a demonetizing of gold could happen if governments feel the need to create a stable unit of account or roll trade. This action is not without precedent. We saw this happen in 1933, that U.S. forced private gold holders to sell their stakes in 1933 to normalize the dollar's value. History is filled with examples where rulers have, in moments of crisis, resorted to debasing the coinage. Surging inflation could prompt governments to outlaw private gold ownership and use the metal to stabilize currencies. The coronavirus pandemic has forced investors into various safe haven assets to ride out violent market swings and recession risks. Gold is one of the biggest winners, leaping to 8-year highs and outperforming risk assets in the year to date. O'Day added to his gold holdings throughout April and recently warned clients that governments could crack down on the precious metal trade if new stores of value are needed during a global economic rebound. This is scary to kind of think about. That particular situation. It makes you wonder about, if they know you have gold or what have you. How would they find out? Well, through your transactions. And also, the technology that I talked about earlier that I showcased called Mint ID is not only utilized on the actual bullion product that I showed, the silver round, but it is also on assay packaging for gold as well. Anyways, it says that O'Day mentioned that it is no surprise that people are buying gold, but the authorities may attempt at some point to demonetize gold, making it illegal to own as a private individual. O'Day wrote, they will only do this if they feel the need to create a stable unit of account for world trade. And roughly 40% of O'Day Europeans' asset value sits in June gold futures, Bloomberg reported, up from 15% at the end of March. While major currencies are no longer linked to the precious metal, O'Day fears the current economic slump might yield Great Depression-era outcomes. The U.S. government began buying privately held gold in 1933 to help bring the dollar's value back to normal levels. Should soaring inflation prevent a smooth economic recovery, central banks could resort to a similar policy. History is filled with examples where rulers have, in moments of crisis, resorted to debasing the coinage, the fund manager wrote. O'Day's pessimism fueled major gains in March as most risk assets plummeted on pandemic fears. His main fund surged 21% through the month, before tumbling 9.5% in April, according to Bloomberg. Even if central bank resort to private gold purchases, the bearish manager doesn't see authorities overcoming a spike in inflation. O'Day sees inflation rates reaching between 5 to 15% within 15 months, and it's weighing heavily on late maturity bonds and growth stocks. Policymakers will fight these prevailing trends for every inch of the way, he projected, adding, I expect them to lose the fight. And gold's trading at $1746.55 per ounce in the morning there, but we're going to take a look and see what gold is doing as of right now. It's down a bit, over 1% now, 1727.50, and gold is down over 2% now. It's $17.20. And platinum and palladium are taking a pretty big hit as well. But you think about that, I don't know that that would happen. I don't think that would make it. And what would it mean to demonetize gold? Gold is not used as money. And one would be a fool to take a $50 1-ounce gold eagle into the store for meat, bread, potatoes, and milk. You're not going to, it's obviously worth a lot more. And essentially, they have demonetized it already by putting such a low denomination on the coin. But even bars, they don't have any monetary value. It is an intrinsic value. It is the value of the marketplace. But how else are they going to demonetize it? I just don't see how that could happen. But I think that what could happen, potentially, is the government may make it a lucrative offer on your gold. In other words, instead of an executive order where the government said you must turn in your gold or we're going to give you $20.67 an ounce for it, or whatever have you. I don't know if they will probably make you a pretty big offer. I think did they offer that at $20.67, or did they offer 35 or somewhere in between there? I know that when people did turn in their gold, they gave them more than what the actual marked value was, but that's when the price of gold was fixed. But what will they do this time? The U.S. government can't really fix a price to gold anymore, but boy, they can make an offer. They can say, well, hey, gold is trading. Let's say gold climbs up to $2,000 an ounce, and then some of this inflation stuff does come true. I believe what they may happen, if we have inflation go up to 15% or what have you, in the due course, within 15 months or even sooner, it gets pretty crazy. And the government decides, well, hey, we want your gold, which I still doubt they would do, and it gets to $2,000 an ounce. Let's say they offer you $3,000 an ounce for it. Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. But you know what? Even if the U.S. government were to offer me $5,000 an ounce for my gold, I would say, heck to the no. No way would I sell my gold to the U.S. government. Because that means it's really worth some money if they're wanting to buy it at that much, at that price. Now, the other thing is that the government really doesn't need our gold. We have over 851 million tons, or 851,000 tons, I think is really what it is, of gold in Fort Knox and in New York. Okay, here we go. This is the top 10 countries with the largest gold reserves. Yes, it is 8,134 tons of gold there. So it's quite a lot that the United States has, with Germany in second place, but we are far the greatest in the amount of tonnage of gold that we've got here. Percent of total reserves is 76% there. So that is according to the GFMS Gold Survey, the United States top holdings. This is from the World Gold Council and the U.S. global investors out there. And we can see the global central banks have been net buyers of gold since 2010, and a lot happening in 2018. Of course, this is a slightly older, well over late last year or in the fall of last year there. But nonetheless, there's a lot of gold that the United States holds. Now, some people just don't believe this number. They don't think that we've got this much gold in our coffers. And so I think that's probably why when this hedge fund manager mentions it, hey, we're desperate for gold out there from Americans, and so that they're going to attempt to buy it back from us, or what have you. But I kind of doubt that's going to be the case. So we really don't need Americans' gold, unless, of course, you don't believe that gold is in Fort Knox. Well, then that's a different matter. But nonetheless, it is an interesting thing to think about, the private ownership of gold becoming illegal through the demonetization of it. But very interesting indeed. So post your thoughts below. Do you think this is at all possible? Do you think this hedge fund manager is onto something here? That gold ownership could become illegal if inflation really spikes that high? I kind of doubt it, but we'll see what happens. Thanks again to John Firth for sending this along to me, and I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video, and encourage you to please rate, yes, please thumb up, or hopefully not down, but hopefully thumb up the video, because it does help the metrics, the algorithm to get the video out there. It really does help the channel a lot. Comment and subscribe.